Hi, I'm Sam. I've come to talk to you about my fabric stash today, following the hashtag Shows Your Stash, which has been instigated by Dani at Pocket or Two and Sian at Kittenish Behaviour. So just a quick video from me today, just talking through some of the fabrics and why I've got them, etc, etc. So there's 8 questions in the Shows Your Stash hashtag, and I will start with number 1. My favourite fabric. So I'm just talking about my favourite fabric that's in my stash today, and that would be probably this one here, which is upside down. Try again. So this is a cotton stretch sateen. It's just a little bit of stretch in it, and I think it cost me about £4 a metre or something on one of my very last sewing meetups at Walton's in Galthorpe. We had a meetup, Ali, Thimbers, and a few others. I think there was only about 5 or 6 of us turned up just before we had lockdown, and I bought this, and actually I haven't got a clue what I'm going to make with it. I saw one of the other ladies, Karen, buy it, and I thought, yeah, that's really nice, and it's got a bit of stretch in it. Don't think even though it's suitable for trousers, I don't think I've made trousers. Karen did make a really lovely shirt dress with hers, and I think that'd be really nice and comfortable. It's got pictures of the it's a bit of an artistic, you call it artistic license, because I think that's the Colosseum and that's the Eiffel Tower. So yeah, pictures of Europe, shall we call it. So yeah, it's a pretty fabric, and I think it might I only got 2 metres of it, so it might make a nice skirt or dress, nice fitted dress. It'd make a really nice fitted dress. And yeah, I think I'm going to get that sewn up this summer. I think it's a nice fabric. So moving on to oldest fabric. Now I've got quite a few that will qualify for that one, because I've inherited quite a lot of fabric from a lady that used to be a sewing teacher. She was a walking friend of my mum's, and she used to be a sewing teacher, and sadly she was diagnosed with terminal cancer. And she wanted someone to take on her fabrics, so I've got quite a lot of Denise's old fabrics. A lot of it I've sewn up. She's had like Burberry and all sorts of things within a stash. One of the oldest fabrics in my stash. I do have fabric going back for years, from years and years, but it's a bit boring to show you some old grey stuff. So I'll show you the one that I think is a little bit more interesting, and it's this. It's got a tweed, and it's got little pale blue stripes going through it, and I bought that to make myself, I bet it's 10 years ago. I was always going to make myself a blazer with it, and when I made the Jaquista blazer last year, I actually pulled this out to make it, but it is actually a little bit on the fine side. It doesn't have a great deal of body to it. I'm playing with it, you can't see, but it's got quite a nice drape to it, and I think there's probably about 3 metres of this here. So that's probably one of the oldest ones that I can remember buying, and what I bought it for. It'll get made up into something eventually, and I still fancy it as a blazer, because it speaks blazers to me, and I was inspired by either Jules or something like that, where they had the funky linings. But I made the Jaquista out of something else actually, so I never got around to making it up in that one. So the next one, skirt to cut into, will be this absolutely beautiful worsted wool, which you see the drape on that. I'll be 100% honest, I'm never scared to cut into fabrics. I will go into them, but sometimes they just don't speak to me. But this worsted wool, it's my colour, or it's a colour that I like. Whether it suits me or not, it's a different question, I don't know. But it's a colour that I always make a beeline for. And it's absolutely beautiful. And I think what I was probably thinking was trousers, but I really genuinely wouldn't wear a pair of trousers this colour. It's too standouty for me. I would probably wear a dress in it, and I think a really plain, simple shift dress would be ideal for it. But nobody's going anywhere at the moment, are there? Simple shift dresses aren't required at the moment, are they? So, but yeah, I think come autumn or winter, I'm going to cut into it. And actually, if I had enough of that for a jacket, in fact, that as a jacket and that as a dress together, it would look really quite fabulous, I think, or the other way around. They do kind of go together, one way or another. And another one of the problems I have with fabric is if I've got 2 metres, I want to use all 2 metres in the project. It really winds me up if I use 1.5 metres and I've got that odd 1/2 metre. So that's one of the reasons that stops. It's not so much scared to cut into as much as finding the right fabric for the project. So the next one is don't have a clue what to make. I've got quite a few of those, but one of the reasons I've brought 2 with me, but one of the reasons I've worn this blouse is for one of the fabrics that I bought. And a couple of years ago I bought, I think it was 4 or 5 silk saris. Now they said they were silk, I'm not 100% sure whether they are, and I made this top with one of them, and it's an old Prima pattern. I've worn it loads and loads. It is one of the comfiest tops I've ever made. It's just nice and loose fitting, perfect for any time of year really. Long sleeved if you want it for winter. But the fabric that I wanted to, this fabric was one of them in that job lot that I got. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So it's got green in it at the bottom thing. And they are used saris, the second-hand saris, and flecks of gold in it. And to be quite honest, I could probably make another one of these. But I don't really want to. I want, and it's see-through, so I think it probably make a fantastic kimono. And I've just made, I showed this in my last video, I've just made the little cami set, sleep set, sorry, from the latest Great British Sewing Bee book, and a little perhaps a dressing gown or kimono style dressing gown to go with that, nice and floaty for the summer, would probably suit that. But that's been, I've got another 2 of these, not these colours but different, you know, different colourways. So fabric with a story was this one, and this is from Thailand, and I brought that back on a trip from Thailand, and the story behind that is that as a surprise for my 50th birthday, my mum had planned to take myself and my son and my husband back to Singapore. I was born in Singapore, and she'd always wanted to take me back to Singapore, and it was a complete surprise. I didn't know where I was going until I got to the airport. And they showed, and my son had done all the planning for her. He'd booked all the accommodation and everything. Within that trip, we went to Thailand and we went to Malaysia, and yeah, so I picked that up in Thailand. It's a batik, I believe, and it's absolutely beautiful. It's just beautiful colours. You see. So I don't know if anybody else does this when they go on the holidays. They like to bring back a souvenir of, I don't know if it's specific, well, it must be specific to sewers, like to bring back a memory of fabric. And my mum keeps saying to me, have you sewn that fabric up yet? Because she was obviously with me when I bought it. And I suppose that might come into the category of scared to cut into. I'm not so much scared, it's quite narrow. I don't know if you've ever worked with these batiks, but they're generally they're quite long but quite narrow, and I would have liked to have got a nice dress out of that, and yeah, I think I might, now I've pulled it out, I might sew that up this summer. It might be a nice little summer frock. But yeah, that was a nice story, was that. It's like I had absolutely no clue where I was going. The son had booked every single bit of accommodation, all the trips. We went into the went up into the jungle in Malaysia, Tamil Nagara. We had a riverboat trip. It was absolutely a fabulous holiday, fabulous surprise. I had no idea that that was coming. So number 6 is a precious fabric, and I think that's going to be this one, which is a very crumpled. Should have ironed it before I got it out. ATELIER brunette, and I will put along the bottom what it's called because I've forgotten. And I don't usually treat myself to expensive fabrics, but I won that at the Manchester Sewing Bee. That came from the ladies at So Delicious. There were so many prizes at the Manchester Bee. If anybody attended, let's say hello. Alex Judge organised it. I think there were quite a few people there that I recognised. It was a lovely day, but that and the pattern came with that. So yeah, it's precious to me, not just because of the happy memories of the day, but I just don't. I'll probably never buy ATELIER brunette again. You know, it's just an expensive fabric for me. I don't tend to spend a lot on fabrics. And the last one is Dream Fabric. Now, as part of my research for the Great British Sewing Bee series that I've been doing, I wandered onto the Liberty website, so along with ATELIER brunette, and they've got some really beautiful ones out again. I could just spend my entire wages on Liberty fabrics. They are my dream fabrics, and it's probably not, you know, it might be a bit ordinary for some people, but I think the florals and the William Morris and what have you, they are my favourite fabrics, and therefore my dream fabrics. And in fact, I'm just going to get you one that my son bought me a while ago. So yeah, the Liberty Strawberry Thief, which I made up into this Colette penny for. This was for my son's wedding last year, and this had been a precious fabric for quite a long time. I have written a blog post about this one over on my website at Frugalissima, about how I squeezed this fabric out of I think I only had 2 meters, and it is, yeah, it's a dream fabric. It's just so soft and buttery, and it's just that design that's just me, is that. So yeah, that Liberty is my dream fabric. And the very last one is, where do you keep your stash? So I will insert some video footage of where I keep all of my stash, and it's quite a big one. It's all nice and neat and tidy, more or less. So, but yeah, it's quite a big one. It's not neat and tidy now. I've had everything out. I'm gonna have to put it all back now. So yeah, thank you for watching this, and don't forget to check out everybody else who's following the hashtag. If you fancy doing this and you don't have a YouTube channel, you can do it on Instagram. I might actually put the photographs up on Instagram and put a link to the video as well. So yeah, that's my stash, and yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll speak to you later. Thank you, bye. So here is my sewing room where I keep some of my fabric stash, and in that big box over there is where I keep my current stash. So I will just show you, give you a little glimpse. Excuse the damp patch in the pucker corner. We had a bit of a leak from the roof. Bear with me. And in here, when I say current stash, this is the stuff that I'll probably use more sort of in the next sort of couple of months, I would have said. Tend to sort of sort it out seasonally, so there's not a great deal of wools in there. They're upstairs in another drawer.